1. The Daddy. Ma Precious Ramotswe had a detective agency in Africa, at the foot of Kigali Hill. She was the only lady private detective in Botswana, and her agency was the best. So, she called it the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. Ma Ramotswe was a good detective and a good woman. She loved her country, Botswana, and she loved Africa too. The people of Africa were her people, her brothers and sisters. She wanted to help them solve the mysteries in their lives. So she became a private detective. The detective agency was in a small building in the town of Gaborone. Outside the building was a sign, the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, for all private business. The agency had a tiny white van, 2 desks, 2 chairs, and an old typewriter. There was also a teapot and 3 large cups, one from Ma Ramotswe, one for her secretary, and one for the client. In front of the agency was a tree. When Ma Ramotswe was not busy, she loved to sit under this tree. It was a very good place to think. She could look across the dusty road to the town, and far away she could see the blue hills. Hills in Botswana always looked blue in the heat. Ma Ramotswe thought about many things while she was sitting under the tree. She thought about her father and the beginning of the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. Ma Ramotswe's father worked in the mines in South Africa for 15 years. The mines were very dangerous. Rocks fell and killed men. The dust destroyed their health. Ma Ramotswe's father saved the money from his years in the mines and bought 180 fine cattle. But the dust from the mines was still in his body, and he became ill. "I want you to have your own business," he said to Ma Ramotswe on his deathbed. "Sell the cattle and buy a business, a shop perhaps." Ma Ramotswe held her father's hand and looked into his eyes. She loved her father, her daddy, more than anyone in the world. Now he was dying. It was difficult to talk through her tears. "I'm going to start a detective agency," she said, "down in Gaborone. It will be the best agency in Botswana, the #1 agency." Her father's eyes opened wide with surprise. But he died before he could say anything more. The #1 Ladies Detective Agency became very successful. At first, business was slow, but then more and more clients came. One of Ma Ramotswe's first clients was Happy Papetsi. "I have been lucky in my life," said Happy Papetsi as she drank tea in Ma Ramotswe's office. "But then this thing happened." Ma Ramotswe watched Happy Papetsi's face carefully. Happy Papetsi was an intelligent woman. She also had few worries. There were no worry lines on her face. "It is probably some trouble with a man," thought Ma Ramotswe. "A man has come into this woman's life and destroyed her happiness." "I grew up in Maun, up near the Okavango River," said Happy. "My mother had a small shop. We had lots of chickens, and we were very happy. My daddy left home when I was still a baby. He went to work in Bulawayo, up in Zimbabwe, and he never came back. So my mother and I decided that he was probably dead. But I wasn't sad about my daddy, because I didn't remember him. I did well in my school examinations. After I left school, I got a good job in a bank. Now I am 38 years old. I earn a lot of money, and I have a nice house with 4 rooms. I am very happy." Ma Ramotswe smiled. "You have done well," she said. "But then this thing happened," said Happy Pepetsi. "My daddy arrived at the house." Ma Ramotswe was surprised. So it was not a problem with a boyfriend. It was a problem with a father. "He just knocked on the door," said Happy Pepetsi. "It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was taking a rest on my bed. I got up and went to the door. A man of about 60 years old was standing there with his hat in his hands. 'I am your daddy,' he said. 'Can I stay with you?' He told me my mother's name. I was very surprised, but I was also excited. My mother was dead. I was happy to meet my daddy. I made a bed for him in one of the rooms and cooked him a large meal of meat and vegetables. He ate it very quickly, and then he asked for more. That was about 3 months ago. Since then, he has lived in that room, and I have done all his work. I make his breakfast, cook lunch for him, and then supper at night. I buy him 1 bottle of beer a day, and I have also bought him some new clothes and a pair of good shoes. He just sits in his chair outside the front door and gives me orders." "Many men are like that," said Ma Ramotswe. "Yes," Happy Pepetsi agreed. "But I don't think that this man is my real daddy. Perhaps he heard about our family from my real daddy before he died. So he came to Botswana. He has found a very good home for himself. Can you help me? Can you find out if this man is really my daddy? If he is, then he can stay with me. But if he is not, then I want him to leave." "Yes," said Ma Ramotswe. "I'll find out." All that day, Ma Ramotswe thought about Happy Pepetsi's daddy. How could she find out if he was the daddy or not? She thought for a long time. Then she had an idea. Ma Ramotswe had a friend who was a nurse. This friend was a large lady, like Ma Ramotswe. Ma Ramotswe borrowed her friend's clothes and put them on. She looked just like a real nurse. Then she drove to Happy Pepetsi's house in her tiny white van. The daddy was sitting in his chair outside the front door, enjoying the morning sun. Ma Ramotswe stopped the car and ran quickly up to the house. "Are you Happy Pepetsi's daddy?" she said. The daddy stood up. "Yes," he said proudly. "I'm very sorry, but Happy has been in a car accident," said Ma Ramotswe. "She is very ill in the hospital." "My daughter!" cried the daddy. "My little baby, Happy!" "Yes," Ma Ramotswe continued. "Happy is very sick, and she has lost a lot of blood. We must get more for her." "Yes," said the daddy. "They must give her that blood. Lots of blood. I can pay." "The money is not a problem," said Ma Ramotswe. "Blood is free, but we don't have the right kind. We will have to get blood from someone in her family, and you are the only person. We must ask you for some blood." The daddy sat down heavily. "I am an old man," he said. "Yes," said Ma Ramotswe. "That is why we are asking you. Happy needs a lot of blood, so we will have to take about half your blood. It will be very dangerous for you." "Dangerous?" said the daddy. "Yes," said Ma Ramotswe. "But you are her father. We know that you will want to help your daughter. Now come quickly, or it will be too late." The daddy opened his mouth and closed it again. "Come with me," said Ma Ramotswe, taking his wrist. I'll help you to the van." "No," said the daddy in a weak voice. "I can't go. I am not really her daddy. There has been a mistake." "You are not her daddy," said Mara Motsway angrily. "Then why are you sitting in that chair and eating her food? Do you know that there is a law in Botswana against people like you?" The daddy looked down at the ground and shook his head. "Go inside that house and get your things," said Mara Motsway. "You have 5 minutes. Then I am going to take you to the bus station and you are going to get on a bus and never come back." When Happy Pepetsi returned home, the daddy's room was empty. There was a note from Mara Motsway on the kitchen table. As Happy read the note, she smiled. "That man was not your real daddy. He told me. Maybe you will find your real daddy one day. Maybe not. But now you can be happy again."